it is an alarming issue, but still it has to go through the protocol.
Just have to discuss this, Alicia, concerning the matters of insecurity in Maseno.
Yeah.
Can you say something on that?
Insecurity in Maseno.
Yeah. Maybe
Okay.
if there is collaborative efforts made,
Okay.
maybe with other partners.
Yes, we've tried our level best to work.
And Alicia, I have a question to you, and this is the question. There were occasions that the election were not fair and transparent.
I believe that the elections were free and fair, and that's why even after there were petitions, there were appeals, the elections were upheld.
I want to clear the air that the elections truly were fair. That's the reason even when the opponents appealed, the appeal did not go through. You know, in every elections, there are those who choose to mourn in the street and there are those who choose to grieve in the house. So what happened is that
having a political chapter that is at Maseno University with the president of Maseno University, and at that far end I have with me my host, who will probably have to introduce himself at first, then we will get to hear the guests that we have, what they will have to tell us. So moving to you, Steve.
I'm Stephen Orr, the co-host, together with Mary Wanja.
Let us have now our guests introduce themselves. We're starting with my guest here.
Thank you very much, Janus Media, for this emphatic idea. Ikua Ian, third-year student at Maseno University, and I'm glad that we are seeing improvement in our media students in Maseno University, and also in the improvement in the Janus Media. This is something that we have not witnessed a few years ago, but we are glad that this thing is coming up very well. Thank you very much, and I hope we are going to have a very impactful session.
Yes, and moving on to now our key guest, maybe you'd introduce yourself for them to know you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mary Wanja, for this opportunity. And my name is Oyuge Elisha Ochieng. I am the Maseno University president, and today I'm glad to join you so that we can discuss all that we'll discuss. Thank you.
Okay, without further ado, let's engage in this conversation to better understand the direction and the initiative of Somu under its current leadership. President Elisha, I have a question to you, and this is the question. There were occasions that the election were not fair and transparent. What was your take on that? That by that time you were so silent.
The occasions that the elections were not free and
There were accusations by the competitor, the opponents.
Okay, I think if the elections were not free and fair, I think I couldn't be here today. So according to me, I believe that everything, the delegates did the right thing and they voted. And as you all know, each and every time when we have winners, they must be accused of not being fair. But to me, I believe that the elections were free and fair. And that's why even after there were petitions, there were appeals, the elections were upheld. Yeah.
And maybe I could ask this question. Yes. There was a point where we had delegates. Once a certain list of delegates is out, maybe list A is out, and we have list B. Maybe my name is Sharon Wanja, and I find my name in the first list of delegates, it is there. But in the second list, my name is not there. What was that contradiction that was there, and how was that tackled? Because I understand that is where the issue came about, the aspect that the elections were not fair and transparent.
I think I was an aspirant, then I became the candidate. I think the issue of the list having my name or any other person's name, and when it comes out the second time it misses, I think that question is best will be best answered by the electoral board.
by the electoral board.
Yeah,
Why
with the
push us to the electoral board, and yet you know, you are the first people at the forefront? So what was happening around there? And because you must have a clue of what was happening. Mbona list A iko na jina, list B haina jina yangu? Why that contradiction?
The same thing. I'll just take you back to the electoral board. There'll be the people to answer that question. I was an aspirant and I was not involved in production of the lists. The people that were eligible to vote as delegates, mine was to convince those that were there as delegates so that they can vote for me. But issues to do with who to be in the list and who not to be in the list was best decided by the electoral board. Thank you.
So to me, Alicia, you are trying to tell us that you had no clue of what was happening by that time.
Yeah, I had no clue of what was happening because I'm not allowed even to have a clue on what is running or what is taking place at the electoral board's offices.
Okay, and maybe that now pushes me to, because we are now discussing matters elections, that will push me to ask you this next question, because how independent is the Electoral Commission of Somu?
How independent? Okay, let me say that the electoral board, it is not even under Somu. This is something that is being chosen by the school itself. It is the vice chancellor to decide on those that are going to run the Somu elections.
To decide on those who are going to run the Somu elections. Basing on that, what considerations are made for the members who are elected in that board so that to ensure there is neutrality and transparency in that board? So that even as my fellow student here, Ikua is here, he would want to hear what considerations are made, because maybe one day he would wish to get into that board. So tell him what are the considerations or the qualifications that he needs to have, or someone out there, she needs to have for her or him to fit to become a member of the independent board of elections of Somu.
Okay, for you to be a member of the board, I think one quality that you need to have as a person is maybe you be a person of integrity and a person who is honest and always sincere to whatever he says or she says. And by that I mean you should not be a person who can easily be convinced to leak out the information. By leaking out the information, then it is not now becoming independent. It is comprised by the administration, people from the part of the administration side and some of the students who usually act as commissioners.
Okay, Kinuthia, I guess you have heard about this, the Independent Electoral Board of Somu.
Yeah.
As a student of Maseno University, what do you think about it? Ni sifa gani ambazo umeweza kusikia kuhusiana na hii board wewe kama mwanafunzi?
Thank you very much, Wanja. First of all, allow me to comment something on the last year elections. As you have asked Mr. Chairman whether the elections were free and fair and transparent, and I had a privilege to be an agent during those elections. Therefore, I was inside the tallying center, and I want to clear the air that the elections truly were fair. That's the reason even when the opponents appealed, the appeal did not go through. You know, in every elections, there are those who choose to mourn in the street and there are those who choose to grieve in the house. So what happened is that the opponents chose to grieve or to mourn in the street, and that's the reason as to why the university or the electoral commission, even after the appeal, nothing happened. The issue of commissioners, I am quite sure that as my chairman has said, that it comprises of some students and also part of the administration, that is the returning officer, the clerks, and we have the student as the commissioners. So what we need, I think, to understand, and our chairman should explain to us, is maybe what are the considerations, because we cannot, for example, I as a student, I can't be a clerk, neither can I be I'm not qualified, I mean, to be a returning officer. But as a student, we know that there are students who are given that chance to be commissioners. I think what my chairman should explain to me and to even the other students of Maseno University is what are the criteria or the considerations that are considered because I think the current regime is the one in charge of appointing, or vetting those who apply to be commissioners.
And moving on to you, Elisha, I would wish you answer him that question. What would make him be disqualified from being into that commission and another student gets the chance?
Okay, thank you very much. I think we usually, or what I've been seeing, the usually adverts that we are looking for qualified personnel who can represent us in this maybe academic year, the elections that will be conducted, and the qualifications are usually stated. Just to mention, you should be in your 4th year of study, and number 2, not just being in your final year of study. Are you well acquainted with the so-called elections? Have you been involved in Somu elections? Which part have you ever played, or the role that you've ever played during maybe the previous elections? And I think the rest are usually decided by the interview panel. That's when they get to decide that so and so is well fit for the position of being a commissioner. But what I will urge is that if you feel like that you have all the qualifications and you can come and convince the panel that indeed you are fit for the position of commissioner, then just apply. Then the decision will be made by the interview panel.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. President, apart from that, your key role as the Maseno president is to articulate the Somu policies. There's a student somewhere who doesn't understand these policies. So can you just tell us what are these Somu policies?
Somu policies. Okay. Somu policies, like let me we work. Let me pick it from a broader picture. We are part of the administration, and mostly we are guided by the school policies. We don't go against them. We don't have a policy that governs Somu as itself. Yeah, we have the school policies. There are so many. There are things to do with the examinations, things governing the elections and all that. It is the same with us. There are processes to be followed. One of the policies that we have here in school, that you have the exam irregularity policy, whereby if you're caught maybe stealing, then you'll be summoned. Then if pleaded guilty, you'll go home.
Okay, Elisha, let me interject you on that issue. When you're caught with issues in the example,
Yes.
and as per the constitution of Somu,
Yes.
it states that we should have a representative. Shouldn't that be you in that office? Because we are finding students are going home, and you would be there defending them to say, because you have a say, you will at least neutralize the high heat and prevent students from going home. Because like you will have to say, you are their representative. We elected you to represent us in such issues. And when you get there, they will not give you time to articulate. It will just be a yes or no. And then they tell you, leave. So we think, what do you have to say about that?
Okay, let me say something. There is what we call the disciplinary committee. The disciplinary committee, we have the regular disciplinary committee and the exam irregularity committee. Student leaders or the Somu executive, that is the Secretary General and the Somu chairman, we are members of the regular disciplinary committee, not exam irregularity committee. This is what I would like to say. If you're caught maybe stealing and there are proofs that you were caught stealing, I think there was a time you interviewed us and we commented on the same, but Yet the power of being in the exam irregularity committee, that power has not been bestowed upon us as the student leaders.
Okay, that power has not been bestowed to you
Yes.
as the student leaders. So whom do we expect to represent us there if you have been taken there on an injustice manner? Who are we going to rely on once we get there to represent?
Okay,
Maybe they
here,
will-
here's the thing. You are usually allowed to appeal. Yes, if you feel that the verdict that was given, that was ruled against you, was not just, you are allowed to appeal. And now those that were in that committee, they'll not be the people to look into that. There are things that I cannot disclose because those are based on the administration.
You know, Mr. President.
But allow me finish. There are things that I cannot disclose because they're on the administration side, and there are things that governs us. And let me say that the problem has been the part of exam irregularity. But remember, let me make it clear to you that this is the year that we are going to have the constitutional review. Why don't you, as Maseno University students, propose that you want your leaders to be in the exam irregularity so that they can see? Then if it is going to be passed, then we can say that we have achieved this as Maseno University fraternity.
Okay, about the constitution review, when do we expect it? Because we cannot start airing and running rampant saying we want the review. So you know you are the ones there who are to give us the directions. This is the time span of the constitution review, and we expect what you think should be reviewed. You as students, we are giving you this time span, this time to tell us what you wish is addressed in the as we review the Somu constitution.
Okay, just before I came here, I told you that I was in the office.
Yeah.
And that is what I was working on. I was working on a memo to all the students that we invite all the proposals, all those sections and subsections in the Somu constitution that needs amendments and some other inclusions that you might want so that to be included. That means we are at the verge of going for constitutional review, and most probably once I'll be out of this place, I'll work on the memo, then they can now send the proposals.
Okay, we will be waiting for that memo and maybe pushing to you, the
Before that,
president.
I had a question to Mr. President
Yes,
concerning the exam irregularities issues. You know, for you to be appointed as the student leader to represent the whole student body in that panel, there must be your key function there. So I think from your words, you not tell us the exact key role you taking in that panel.
Okay, thank you. My key role is to defend comrades.
Independent comrades.
Yes,
But
let
why are so many comrades going home yet
they are going home because they are in the wrong.
They are going home because they are in the wrong, and yet I get phone calls like, we are trying to reach Elisha Uyugi. He's not picking our calls. We elected you to represent us there. But sasa ikifika masaa sisi kupigia simu hatukupati. Wapotelea wapi?
My phone is ever on. My phone is ever on, and I think even everyone can say that I'm always available. You'll always meet me along the streets. Yes, you'll meet me. I'm there. Let me tell you, the last disciplinary that took place, the regular one, you saw people striking, there were incitements here and there. Have you ever heard of any single person who went home after that disciplinary?
There are several comrades.
No,